everyone, it's me, Cassandra from Mobile Om Yoga, and I'm so happy to have you joining me for this free virtual online yoga practice. I'm here on the grounds of the historic Mission Concepcion here in San Antonio as part of an ongoing class series that we have here in the National Park. We work with the Western National Parks Association to bring these free classes to you guys every first and third Saturday of the month. Typically, we meet in community, in person, when we are able, but since we are currently unable to come together as a in-person community, I am so grateful for the opportunity to continue to share practice in this amazing space with all of you guys unrolling your mats from home, and that we can come together in a virtual community. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's go ahead and unroll our mats and get started. We're going to begin today's practice lying down on your back. Just find yourself with the legs extended. And we're going to begin with the palms of your hands down on the low part of your belly. Relaxing the shoulders down into the floor, allowing the feet to fall away from one another, and allow your eyelids to softly close. We're going to start today's practice with a simple pranayama of long, deep breathing. So you'll begin by taking a long, full inhale through your nose, expanding the space of the belly, the space of the chest, full capacity breath, and then a long, continuous exhale to empty out all that space. Just taking two more big, full, long, deep breaths, just like that. Inhaling and emptying out. One more deep breath in, fill yourself up. And exhale to empty yourself out. Taking your left hand and lifting it to the space of your heart, keeping the right palm down at the low belly. Continuing to breathe that long, deep, full breath, focusing equally on expanding the space of the belly and expanding the space of your heart, of your chest, up into that left palm. Inhaling fully. And exhaling completely. Taking just a few more moments in this integration portion of our practice, where we begin to tune out from all that's going on around us. Perhaps what may be moving between our ears. We begin to shift our focus. Just tuning into the movement of our breath in the container of our bodies. Integrating into this practice of unity, of uniting first all aspects of ourself into this single point, right here, right now. One more breath. Now begin to open up your eyes. Take your hands off of your body. Find a full body stretch. And I want you to really feel alive here. Begin to wake up the space between the fingers and toes. And then draw the knees gently in, one at a time, towards your chest, rocking from side to side, massaging out the low back. And then bring your knees, let's open them wide, and find happy baby. Soles of the feet come to the sky. The hands can come into the insides of the knees. That's a great place to start out this morning. Maybe you reach up and grab onto the actual soles of your feet. So each time we arrive in a new shape, we we begin the same, bringing your awareness to your breath, long, full, and deep, and grounding into the context of your physical container. Today's practice, we're starting in the element of earth, this element of grounding into the physical body. We'll begin to notice where you might be feeling tender or tense. Even here, maybe you bring some movement, some shifting from side to side to start to alleviate any of those little tender areas. And taking one more moment with the feet towards the sky. Begin to bring the feet together, a bound butterfly. So the hands can be on the ankles, on the shins, or maybe clasp around the feet. Let the knees press away from you, beginning to feel a gentle stretch in your inner thighs. As we work towards this anchor of what it feels like to be here now in our body. Go ahead, take your hands off of the feet, ankles, or shins. Bring it to the outside of your knees. Close your knees together like a book. And then go ahead and let the soles of your feet settle back down onto the earth, about hip width distance apart. Walk your heels in a little closer towards your hips here. Bringing some fluid movement in with the breath as you inhale, root through the feet and begin to peel the hips and pelvis off the mat. Finding a nice gentle bridge pose. Waking up through the soles of the feet and the legs. Take one more inhale, lifted. And as you exhale, slowly roll down. Rooting down into the feet. Once again, inhale, begin to lift and curl the tailbone up, coming all the way up onto the shoulders. And as you exhale, slowly melting yourself back down. Doing that one more time. On an inhale, lift your hips, peeling the spine up one vertebrae at a time. And then as you exhale, settling down the back. All right. We'll take one more inhale to lift. This time, keep your hips lifted. Keeping the hips up off of the ground, finding a bridge pose. So our bridge pose is a heart opener. And when we think about opening the heart, one of the most important aspects physically in our practice is the sensation of grounding, of being really strong through your feet. So feel those feet ground down, really waking up the strength of your legs to support you here. Taking one more breath to ground through the feet and lift a little higher into the hips, into the heart. And then as you exhale, you begin to slowly roll yourself down. Begin to draw the knees in towards your chest once again. And then massage, rocking side to side, settle the low back in, recognizing what feels good. And then keep your right knee hugged in towards your chest. Begin to extend that left leg out, just stretching it long towards the opposite side of your mat. And then maybe you take a moment to bring some circles into that right hip. Again, waking up, I like to think of perhaps where you might need some WD-40, right? We got creaky joints. And then just hug the knee right into the center of your chest. You're going to keep a hold of your knee with your left hand. Let your right arm reach first straight up to the sky. And then you're just going to let it open all the way out to the right side. Keeping your knee hugged in close to the chest, begin to roll over onto your left hip as you take that right knee to the left side. So kind of an intense stretch. Try to allow gravity as much as you can to take over here. So we're not fighting against or bringing any sort of engagement in yet. So we're just kind of allowing our breath to flow and gravity to do the work. Taking one more breath, emptying out. And then gently rolling up towards center. We'll just switch. Left knee comes to meet your right. Right leg extends all the way down onto the ground. Taking that moment to roll that knee in circles one way, the opposite way. Feeling any tender or tense spaces. And then go ahead and settle your knee into the center of your chest. Left hand or right hand stays on the knee. Left arm reaches up. Opening that left arm to the left side, and then you're crossing your right knee to the opposite side, or the left knee to the right side. And again, it gets a little intense, so find that space, and it's okay to feel. My teacher says, in order to heal, we need to feel. And that's what this practice is all about. We confront the spaces where we physically feel, perhaps the triggers where our mind brings up emotions or thoughts. And we have to confront these tender, tense, or uncomfortable spaces in order to heal or to move past. One more breath. And come back to center. But it all starts the same, being really grounded and open into your own experience right here, right now. Begin to rock and roll front to back. Have a little bit of fun here as you rock yourself and make your way all the way up into a seated space. So you're going to kind of find your way into a seated pose, crossing one leg in front of the other, taking the ankles one in front of the other. And then go ahead, move the flesh away from the sit bones. Let's get sitting nice and grounded here. We're going to do a little circle of joy with our arms. We'll start by bringing the palms of your hands together at your heart center. This is our Anjali Mudra. It's a salutation seal. So when we take this at the beginning of our practice, it's as if we're saluting or honoring what it is that brought us to our mat. So seal those palms right at your heart, thumbs connected to the center of your chest. And then let's gently bring the chin down towards the chest as you bow in, and take a moment to tune in to your motivation for this practice. So perhaps your motivation specifically this morning, or perhaps the reason that you've chosen to make this practice a part of your life. So we honor this space as a guiding light, as the guiding principle for our practice. So take one more inhale here and exhale it out. Lift your chin back into neutral. Take an inhale with the palms together. As you exhale, you're going to interlace your palms, press the palms forward, tuck your chin around the spine. On your next inhale, begin to lift your shoulders up over the hips. You're sitting up straight. Take the palms of your head up, and then as you exhale, out into cactus arms. As you inhale, bring the palms back together. Exhale, interlace and flip. Pushing the palms forward. Inhale, stack. Sitting up nice and tall, palms reaching to the sky. Exhale, cactus arms. Inhale, one more time, bring the palms together. Interlace the hands, exhale, flip. Inhale, lift and stack, reaching through the palm. And then exhale, allow your arms to come out to cactus arms. Pause right here. Take an inhale to lift the chest. And an exhale, settle the shoulders down. Bring the index finger to meet your thumb. It's our Gyan Mudra. This is where we begin to connect that monkeyness of our mind, that humanness, with our more intellectual wisdom. That part of us that knows that being here is good for us. I also like to think of this as a cosmic okay symbol. We're going to be okay. So take another inhale, sit up tall. And as you exhale, you're just going to twist. Right elbow forward, left elbow back. Stay here. Take an inhale, sit a little bit taller. Shoulders stay rolled down. As you exhale, see if you can twist a little bit deeper. And then inhale, come back to center. Soften the shoulders down, lift up to the crown. Exhale, we're going to move it to the other side. Left elbow forward, right elbow back. Reconnect into the earth, root to inhale, rise. exhale, ring a little deeper. As you inhale, come back to center. All 10 fingers reach up towards the sky. And as you exhale, go ahead and come forward, melting into a forward fold. Breathing here. I want you to begin to lift your breath up into the back of your heart space, creating a 360 degrees of space in our lungs. As we tenderize those places in our heart that may be broken or aching, tender or tense, starting with ourselves, just being compassionate for whatever comes up and arises for us here. On your next inhale, begin to lift yourself all the way up. And take the hands back behind you. Make your feet a little wider than the hips. And just like waves, let your knees windshield wipe to one side and then to the opposite side. And just kind of letting yourself rock from hip to hip. Just a couple more times here. And then you'll come back into that neutral space. And then come to cross your legs again, this time in the opposite way. So bringing the opposite leg in front. So when we talk about grounding, we always think about this idea of a grounding place being a comfortable place. But oftentimes, life happens and we're forced to find ourselves grounded in a new, perhaps not so comfortable, perhaps a little more messy space. So in our physical practice, just by switching the crossing of our legs, we can begin to feel, something's not right. But that doesn't inherently mean it's not right. It's a new normal in our body. So let's just take a moment. We sit right here in this new normal of our Sukhasana, easy seated pose. And let's take an inhale and reach and fan the fingers all the way up towards the sky. This time we're going to open up the sides of our heart by taking the right hand to the right side and inhaling long through the left side body. And as you exhale, you're arching over to that right side, bringing the breath to really expand into the left rib cage. Try to keep the shoulders melted from the ears, maybe even letting the head go. That right ear can fall towards the right shoulder. Lastly, you can give yourself a hand here. Take your left hand, support your head. This also allows the weight of the head to intensify the stretch and the experience on the left side body. And then using your inhale, begin to reach up and then to the other side. Left hand to the ground, reaching up and then exhaling over into that nice side body bend stretch. Opening the right rib cage with each breath. Shoulders soft, left ear can relax. Perhaps you bend at the elbow, giving yourself a hand here. Sometimes we have to support ourselves first. Taking another breath in and exhale it out. On your next inhale, begin to reach all 10 fingers to the sky. This time as you exhale, that right hand's going to come behind you, left hand to your right knee. So inhale, sit up tall, using that right hand like a brace or a second spine. And then you're going to exhale using the left hand to ring out. Begin to twist towards the right. Inhale, sit a little taller. And as you exhale, now turn your chin over that right shoulder if that feels okay. One more breath, tall here. And twist. Inhale through center, 10 fingers to the sky, recenter the shoulders. And then exhale, left hand behind you. Right hand across to that left knee. Sitting up nice and tall, get long. Exhale, ring it out. Taking another inhale, sit up. And on your exhale, ring it out. One more inhale, 10 fingers reaching high to the sky. And we'll take it down into that forward fold. One more time, allowing the weight of the head to come down. And bringing the breath into the back side of the heart. Dilating your awareness into your physical container. shining light and recognizing throughout each and every transition where you can tenderize perhaps some tense parts of yourself, how you can meet any distraction to realign with your motivation to be present here. Let's inhale all the way back up into center. Go ahead and take the feet out in front of you. And we're going to press into the hands this time and begin to lift into a reverse tabletop, stretching up through the heart. Once again, grounding strongly through the feet and legs here as you open up into this altar pose. Taking one more breath. And then with your exhale, go ahead and lower your hips down towards the mat. We're going to create that same shape the opposite way. So coming across onto the hands and knees here, go ahead and find yourself in a tabletop. So the wrists underneath your hips and the knees come straight underneath your hip, or knees underneath the hips, wrists underneath your shoulders. So inhale into an arched spine, finding cow pose. Gaze lifts and the shoulders pull away from the ears. Exhale, rounding the back of the heart high, tuck your chin, pushing the mat away with the shins and the palms. Inhale again, let the belly drop down, lift up your gaze. Exhale, press through the hands, tuck the chin and round. Inhale, belly drop, gaze lift. And exhale, tuck and round. Inhale, neutral spine. Bringing the knees a little bit wider, making a wedge with the shin. So the big toes together, hips to heels, extended child's pose. Walk the fingertips long, bow the forehead to meet the earth. Maybe shake your head no here. No, I'm not wishing I was anywhere else. Maybe shaking it yes. Yes, I am here now. Taking one more breath in and exhaling it out. On your next inhale, press in through the palms. Begin to lift your shoulders up and over your wrists. And then bring your knees back to stack underneath your hips. We're going to take a modified push-up here. You're going to inhale, shift your shoulders forward in front of your wrists, and as you exhale, begin to lower the belly all the way down to the mat. Finding our low cobra, pressing through the palms, squeeze the elbows, lift the heart, and exhale, lower down. Inhale, pressing up, tabletop, hips to heels, exhale, child's pose. Walking your hands back towards your knees, we're going to inhale, lift up on your knees, and reach your arms to the sky. So a modified upward salute. And as you exhale, just bowing back down, hips to heels, arms out in front of you. Inhale, round yourself up, shoulders over wrists. And as you exhale, that modified chaturanga, lower to the belly. Finding cobra, inhale, squeeze the elbows, lift the chest. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift up through tabletop, and exhale, hips to heels. Inhale, hands come back and reach up all the way to the sky. Upward salute on the knees. Exhale, hips to heels, bow back forward. Inhale, rounding up, last one. Exhale, coming into that modified chaturanga. Inhale, low cobra, heart lifts. Exhale, lifting the hips back and down into your child's pose. On your next inhale, begin to lift up onto the knees. Stack your hips over the knees. Walk your arms forward. Finding our puppy pose. Forehead comes to the mat. Hips stay lifted. And you find a tilt of your tailbone as the heart starts to melt down towards the mat. This is too much in the shoulders or the neck. You can bend one or both forearms to stack under your forehead. Take an inhale and an exhale. On your next inhale, press into the palms, lift your forehead, lift your right hand, and you're going to thread your right arm under. So you're coming onto the right shoulder and the right ear. The left arm can keep reaching forward, pressing into the earth. You can reach the left arm into a bind. So those are your options here, helping to stay grounded to what is actually going on in your physical container. One more breath in and out here. You took the bind, begin to unwind and bring the right hand back onto the earth. Come back onto the hands and knees. Beautiful. You're going to take an inhale, lift the left arm, and then take it onto that left shoulder, left ear. Either finding that right arm towards the front of the mat or reaching it up and around towards the left hip. Finding a few breaths here and taking a moment to wake up any tension in the back of the heart. And then unwinding, right hand to the earth and pressing yourself back up into tabletop pose. Nice. Let's take one more cat-cow. Inhale, the belly drops, and exhale to round. And then we'll take our time to make your way to your first downward dog, lifting up the hips, finding an upside down V here. And then walk out your legs, bending one knee, pressing the opposite heel down. And then both heels down, a soft bend behind both knees as the heart begins to press back towards your thighs. Take another breath in and empty out. Begin to tiptoe your feet all the way up to meet your hands, keeping them nice and wide, about hip width distance here. Take an inhale, halfway lift, nice generous bend behind the knees, and as you exhale, belly to thighs, let's ragdoll it out. Give your head a big shake, yes, and a big shake, no. And then take your hands, interlace them together, and we're going to bring the hands all the way to the nape of your neck, the base of your skull. And then just allow the elbows to melt down, adding a little bit of weight to the head. If this is too much, you can release the fingers back to the earth. Otherwise, use this awareness to help alleviate those tense or tight spots in your neck. Shake your head yes, shake your head no. Go ahead and drop your fingertips to meet the ground. Inhale, hands to shins or all the way up to the thighs. Really press long through the crown, get flat in your back. And then exhale, coming all the way down. Coming into an upward salute, inhale, all 10 fingers reach away from the heels, high towards the sky. And then as you exhale, finding that Anjali Mudra, that salutation seal, thumbs at your heart. Taking a moment in your Tadasana. Our Tadasana means standing at attention. So pay attention to the roots of your feet, to the sensation of grounding in your palms. As you press the palms together, feel the shoulders hug back. Lift your heart space a little taller, standing at attention for your intention, for being here and paying attention to your container and how you interact, the space you create within. Go ahead and take an inhale. Let's extend those 10 fingers up towards the sky. And then exhale, swan dive down over your legs. Inhale, halfway lift. With your exhale, bring the palms to meet the earth. Take a big step with your left foot to the back of your mat. As you bend into the right knee, let the left knee come down to the earth. Uncurl your left toes. So as you sink forward, you want your ankle under the knee. So you may have to kind of wiggle it forward and get super deep here, keeping the fingertips on the ground. Lower your pelvis and hips. Start to feel the front of that left hip flexor come alive. And then begin to bring your hands to stack on your front thigh as you lift your torso up and away. Roll the shoulders back. And then you're going to take your left hand, find that cosmic OK symbol if you choose, and begin to lift it up and back. So stretching that left arm, sliding the left shoulder away from the ears, and keeping that right hand on your thigh for support. Let's take another inhale and exhale. On your next inhale, start to stretch that left arm all the way forward as you bring it to the inside of your right foot. So either keeping the knee on the ground for this twist or tuck your left toes and lift your knee, keeping this a little more buoyant. Right hand stays on the thigh, or you can reach it up towards the sky, starting to twist open in the spine here. So taking one more breath in and out. And then bringing your right hand down to the mat. Right foot meets your left, or perhaps right knee meets your left, finding a modified or a full high plank. Take a breath in, and with your exhale, lower belly towards the mat, finding cobra again, or if you're ready, you can take a full up dog, straightening the arms, lifting your thighs. And then downward facing dog, tuck your toes and lift your hips. Take a deep breath in here, and then empty yourself out. Take a look at the top of your mat. You're going to take a step with your left foot as far as you can to the top of your mat, dropping that right knee down. Once again, as we sink into this low lunge, try to stack your front ankle under the knee and really get deep in the hips and pelvis. So you're already feeling that stretch, that opening here. Bringing the hands to stack on your front thigh. Start to bring your heart up towards the sky. Sinking down into the hips. Left hand can stay grounded. Right hand maybe finds that okay symbol. I like to take mudras because it is another way of grounding our awareness into our physical body. So pay attention to what it feels like to lift that hand. Push the finger and thumb together, wake up the arm, right? Slide that right shoulder down. Take another breath in and out. Begin to reach that right arm really long forward as you bring it to ground and land the inside of the left foot. And then with or without tucking the back knee to lift, we're taking this into a twist. Hand stays rooted and grounded as a support, or lifting as an expansion, as an opening. Take another breath in. And then with your exhale, your left hand comes to the earth. This time, even if you haven't lifted it, lift your back knee, and we're going to step forward and meet at the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and exhale, fold. Inhale, stretch 10 fingers high towards the sky. And exhale, bring your thumbs to touch at the center of your heart. Begin to sit back into your hips. So another space in practice where when we hold chair pose, it tends to bring up a lot of reactivity, a lot of fire. Perhaps you don't like it, perhaps it's uncomfortable. But for right now, our job isn't to love chair pose. Our job is just, can we hold it and maintain an awareness of how we're reacting to it? So you can leave the hands at heart center. Perhaps that helps you in praying. Please, teacher, don't leave us here too long. Or maybe you extend your arms. You find a little more fire to work with here. And then see how you meet that fire. Perhaps the shoulders are starting to tense towards the ears. Slide those down. Perhaps you're holding your breath. Let's find a big fluid inhale. And on the exhale, sit a little deeper and just stay in it. This is our yogi's path. Take an inhale. And then with your exhale, fold it down, forward folds. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, hands come down. Take a big step with your left foot to the back. This time we're setting up for warrior two. So the back foot's parallel to the back of your mat. And as you stretch your arms up and open, you're coming parallel to that long edge of your mat. Bend your right knee, stack knee over ankle. And then we're going to bring the arms out parallel to the mat. Gazing over the right fingertips. And then take an inhale, flip your palms up towards the sky. So we're sliding those shoulders away from the ears. And then come back into your physical container. So feel those feet really grounded intentionally into the ground, the strength of your own legs holding you here. And like a warrior, you have your drishti, or your gaze, intensely set over the palm of that right hand. Reminding yourself to be here. And the more we're here as a warrior, the less we're here as a warrior. So more warrior, less worrier. Let's flip the right palm towards the sky. As you inhale, scoop the right arm up and back. We're taking a nice open side bend here. There's a really good tendency to straighten that right knee. I want you to sink back and keep it nice and bent and focus your awareness on the stretch you're creating in the right side body. Taking one more breath in and out. And on your next inhale, begin to straighten all the way back up. You're going to straighten your right knee and then turn it towards a diagonal so that both of your feet are kind of diagonal, and we're taking a big like starfish pose. So I've got my arms, my legs, my head, all points of this really big star. So we're going to take a breath here that is called lion's breath, and it's super fun, and it's a way to kind of get out of that kind of thinking mind that was worried about what we look like or what we feel like. And it looks like this. You're going to inhale, and then when you exhale, stick your tongue out, open your eyes as wide as you can. So the movement we're going to do with that is starting in our star pose. We're going to inhale here, and as you exhale, come into goddess, bending the arms and knees, and finding that breath. So join with me. We'll do it a total of 3 times. So let's inhale in together, maybe close the eyes, squish the face, get it ready to open wide. Inhale, inhale, and then exhale, open the eyes, open the mouth. Get deep. All right, inhale, exhale. One more, inhale, and exhale. And close the mouth, stay low. Take an inhale, begin to straighten up really tall. This time we're going to turn over your back leg. So we're starting to create that warrior 2 shape over the back knee. So bending the left knee over your left ankle, arms parallel towards the mat, standing up tall through the heart, and setting your drishti right over your left fingertips. All right, let's take that moment again to roll the shoulders back, to roll the palms towards the sky. Feeling that warrior strength in your foundation, perhaps even in your core, helping to hold you upright. And then we're going to inhale, scoop it back, finding a nice open space, side bend, left side body. Noticing if that left knee wants to straighten, and rebend the left knee. Get it nice and deep, reaching the left arm a little bit further. Take another moment, breathing in and breathing out. On your next inhale, you'll begin to straighten up. This time you're going to straighten your left knee. We're turning the feet parallel, and the hands are going to come to grab onto your hips. As you inhale, elbows begin to open back, heart lifts. As you exhale, we're taking a wide leg forward fold, hinging from the hips. Soften behind your knees, and then bring your hands to meet the earth. Inhale, we're going to lift, straighten the arms just as much as you can. We'll pull your heart away from your hips. Get nice and long in your spine. And on your exhale, you can walk your hands between your legs to get into your depth of forward fold. Taking a breath in and exhaling to let it out. On your next inhale, begin to walk your hands back out in front of you. As you exhale, hands come up onto your hips. And on your inhale, begin to lift all the way up to standing. Take a breath in and a breath out. Bend your knees. We're going to have a little fun. Jump your feet together to touch. All right. So we're going to take a moment to begin to put into practice the work of where we're going with this class, of our heart chakra. And not just in opening our physical heart space, but in the space of our heart as being a buffer from this really grounded state of being here in our own body. And then how we can begin to use that to percolate open into the space of air to connect with all of those that are virtually in this community with us. So to do so, let's start in our standing at attention pose. So you're back on both feet and bring the hands together in front of your heart. Once again, using this mudra as a reminder to seal in that intention, your bigger why for this practice, and knowing it's not to create a beautiful posture. We're going into tree pose. It's not going to be to create the most beautiful tree you've ever seen. It's to be really real and authentic in your tree. So we start standing at attention, both feet. We'll begin to shift weight into that right foot. So now we're beginning to lift the left foot and getting stronger in that foundation, like a trunk of a tree, of the right foot. Left heel can come to your ankle. This is a very good first step for learning balance. We have a little kickstand here. You can bring your foot into the calf or all the way up into the thigh. So now I want you to rededicate yourself to that standing leg. So you're really engaged. But then I want you to also use the foot, wherever it's connected onto your leg, as an anchor point. So you're pressing the foot into your leg. Now your whole base is nice and strong. And then you can begin to lift. The space of the heart chakra is, once we feel grounded, once we're present, we're able to lift and open ourselves out to new possibilities. So maybe that new possibility in your physical practice is your arms reaching out, just like branches. They can be wide, they can be bent like a cactus. You can take any variation of arms, because now you have the stable base. And even if your base is wobbly, our goal is not done if we can't find stability. It's the continual process of checking in. What do I need? Can I be more authentic in this space? All right, take one more moment, and if you haven't wobbled a little yet, try to make yourself wobble. Maybe that's closing your eyes. So we can all virtually know we're holding ourselves accountable to finding the edge and bringing ourselves back. Bring your hands back to your heart center. So what's really important? Go ahead and release your left leg. Shake your right leg out. Find yourself back in a nice stable Tadasana, both feet grounded onto the earth. We'll begin the process of shifting now the weight into the left foot. Your right heel again can start at your ankle, can be down at your calf, or all the way up into your inner thigh. Forgot to mention on the other side, let's be careful not to push in on the knee. It can be a sensitive spot. And then rededicate yourself. Really engage through your standing leg. Find the strength, that stable base, and then pushing that right foot into that stable base to align. Again, the same thing works in the hands. As we press them together in front of the body, the shoulders can hug back. So now we're really engaged in our container. And then it's up to us what we do with it. We can stay just engaged in it, but we really want to find that space in it, that space to breathe. Maybe that includes opening up the arms. Maybe that just includes giving yourself a break between the ears and just allowing yourself to embrace the wobbles of life, to renegotiate, to realign, to find your breath. And then if you haven't yet, I invite you to find that point of wobble for yourself, closing your eyes, looking up, and just taking one more moment to trust the process of this practice and the wisdom that comes from the imperfection. Go ahead and release the hands back to heart and release that right foot down, shake it out. Usually in our community classes, this is the time when we step off of our mat, we introduce ourselves to one another. And since we're unable to do that, I just want you perhaps to just virtually acknowledge that we are all in this practice together. And that part of the beauty of our ability to practice in community is this idea that we show up for ourselves, but we also show up for one another. So I thank you again for showing up. Let's go ahead and make your way back to the very top of your mat. All right. So finding just a little more buoyancy in this heart space before we get regrounded back down into our mat to finish this class. So we're going to come back under the soles of your feet at the top of your mat, starting with the hands at your heart center as you sit into your chair pose once again. All right. And then you can keep your hands here or reach them up, and they don't have to be super high. They could just be right out in front of you. So we're going to inhale. On your inhale, you're going to straighten your legs. You're going to come up onto your tiptoes and lean forward. It's called diver's pose. It's like you're about to dive off the deep end. Really requires us to be present because it's a real wobbly place to be. So that's going to be our inhale. And for the exhale, we're going to reground into the heels, sit into the hips. We're going to inhale, lift the arms up. So exhale, you sweep the hands back, and And then inhale, you begin to straighten the knees, straighten the legs, lift the heels, dive. Exhale, ground the heel, sit back. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, swing the hands back, heart forward. Inhale, straighten the legs, lift the heels, trust yourself. Drop the heels, sit the hips, inhale. And exhale, we're gonna go one more time into that perch, that diver's pose. Exhale, sit the hips back, reach the arms up. And then go ahead, stand your legs up straight. Inhale, 10 fingers to the sky. And exhale, down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, palms to the earth, feet to the back of your mat, high plank. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lifting the chest. And exhale, just lower yourself all the way down onto the belly here. You're gonna bring your hands back behind you, palms facing down, just kind of like we were in that diver's pose. On an inhale, lift your shoulders, lift your hands, lift your legs. Find your fire, squeeze the shoulder blades. Really fly high here. We fly high when we fly together. Take one more breath, squeeze and lift. And on your exhale, bring your right ear to the mat. Allow the shoulders to melt down. Take a moment. This is another space where we have to re-evaluate our container. As we try to catch our breath, it can be limiting to try to breathe that big chested, big bellied breath we found earlier. So we bring the breath into the backside of our heart, the thoracic spine, even down to where many of us may need it, down into our lower back, near our kidneys and our adrenals. We can flush out some of that stress with a few deep breaths here. All right, one more heart opener here. You have the option to take the same thing we just did, or perhaps go deeper by interlacing the hands behind the back. So make your choice wherever you're at. And on your inhale, lift the chest and lift your legs. Either the palms are extending back or that fist is extending back, like you're trying to pull the hands apart to tip the shoulders a little higher. Take one more big breath, squeeze and lift everything up here. And then as you exhale, left ear comes to the mat, hands release. Once again, we try not to make it harder on ourselves by focusing on the limiting spaces of our current situation, our current physical shape. And instead, we reevaluate. We lift our breath to a new place in the back of the body. One more breath in and breath out. And bringing your hands underneath your shoulders, let's lift yourself up towards tabletop. And then take your hips back to your heels, finding your child's pose. Take a deep breath in here and empty breath out. On your next inhale, press yourself up into a tabletop pose. You're going to inhale, extend your left leg back. You're going to keep it lifted. Lift your gaze, take an inhale. As you exhale, bring your knee towards your nose. Once again, inhale, lift your knee out. Exhale, knee towards your nose. This time, inhale out. And this time, see if you can exhale, bring your knee towards your elbow. And then you're just going to set your right foot to the outside of your hand. All right, so begin to walk forward again and sink deep. So we've kind of been here earlier, but instead of your hands on either side of your foot, they're both to the inside of that right foot. And you're just going to sink the hips down a moment. Taking the heart nice and long. And then begin to shift back into that left knee. Walk your hands in, and you're going to take that right foot and walk it over to the left side of your mat to set up for half pigeon. So you're setting that right shin across the mat, the right knee towards the right side. And the tendency is going to be to sit on that right hip. So I want you to lift yourself and try to square your hips so that you're feeling this in the back leg as well. And you can support yourself by putting like a blanket or a towel under that right hip. So taking a moment into proud pigeon, let's lift the chest, Maybe lift the gaze, feeling a stretch in the front body. And then as you exhale, go ahead and come down onto the forearms or all the way down to the forehead. And taking a moment to soften in. As you breathe into this shape, dilate your awareness. Allow yourself to sit in whatever physical experience arises. Just stay anchored into your breath. And then taking your next inhale, come up on to the palms of your hands. This time, go ahead and sit over onto your right hip, and you're just gonna swing your left leg all the way around. And take your left leg straight out in front of you. I'm gonna give you two options here. You can either find like a little seated tree with the foot to the inside of the left leg, or you can cross your foot a little bit underneath your left leg and allow the heel to come right into the meat of your hamstring or of that thigh. And this does a couple things. It helps you to keep from locking out that left knee, but it's also going to add a compression point, kind of like a therapy ball to the back of that thigh. So if it's uncomfortable, you can take it out. For me, I think it feels really nice, so I invite you to try it. Inhale here, get nice and tall. And then with your exhale, we're going to fold over the left leg. So wherever you are, let's let the head go. Allow the spine to round a little bit, just lifting the back of the heart with each inhale. And just surrendering to each exhale, falling into the pull of gravity. And on your next inhale, begin to walk your hands back and come upright. This time, uncross and bring that left foot to the inside, or the right foot to the inside of your left leg. You're going to reach around and bring your right hand behind you, and you're going to press into the right hand onto the right knee. And then I want you to look at your right hand. This is going to be a fun transition. I'm going to explain it to you here. You're going to try to take your left hand towards your right. You're keeping that left foot and rotating it to the ground, and you're going to see if you can draw the right leg into the sky. Three-legged dog. And then you're going to set both feet down and finding your tabletop facing towards the back of your mat. So a little fun transition to take it to the other side. So this time the left heel is going to come back, gaze lifts. Exhale, knee towards the nose, round. Inhale, left heel back, gaze lifts. Exhale, knee comes in and round. And last one, inhale, heel up, gaze lifts. This time knee comes towards your outer elbow. And then set your left foot to the outside of your hands, walking your hands forward, sinking your hips down, finding that low lunge with both hands to the inside of your left leg. And then we'll shift back onto the right knee. Walk your left foot over to the right side, and then set your left shin down, walking the right leg back. Keeping both hands grounded, again, to notice if you're on that left hip, just press and lift. Maybe even hugging your left heel in will help you come more into a neutral position. Take one inhale here, and then use your next exhale to come all the way down. Again, onto the forearms or forehead to the ground. Long, full, deep breaths. Your next inhale, begin to bring your hands back upright, sitting up tall. Sitting into that left hip this time, swinging the right leg towards the opposite side of your mat. And then again, you're going to either take that left foot to the inside of your thigh or crossing the heel a little bit underneath the meat of your right thigh. Sit up nice and tall for an inhale, and with your exhale, take it into a forward fold. Head is heavy, shoulders melting away from the ears. And just surrendering for a few moments to wherever gravity chooses to take you. On your next inhale, go ahead and come upright. Moving the left foot away from underneath the right thigh. Left hand behind you, right arm to the sky, lifting up onto the left knee. And then trying to make that funky transition, just work with me. We're turning back towards the front of the mat, left heel to the sky, three-legged dog. And then as you exhale, go ahead and bring both feet to the earth. As you inhale, shift forward into high plank, drop your knees, and then drop all the way down onto your belly. All right. You're going to bring your right arm, or just start with your left arm. Bring your left arm straight out to the left side. Begin to bend your right knee. You're going to turn over onto the left shoulder and the left side of your body as you take the right foot to the outside of your left leg. That right hand can stay grounded, just kind of guiding you to your level of comfort of this twist. You also have the option to take the right arm up and around, finding a bind, getting a little bit of a deeper stretch. Taking a breath in and out. And starting to roll back onto your belly, unwinding back. Stretching that right arm out. Left hand comes under the shoulder. Start to turn over onto the right shoulder, bending the left knee, taking the left foot to the outside of the right leg. And again, you're either using that left hand as a guide or perhaps wrapping it around, finding a bind to get a little deeper. Big breath in and out. Last one here. And then return back onto your belly. And then taking a moment, we're going to finish our practice a little unconventionally today with a belly down Shavasana. So a few options. You can start with one ear on the mat, and I'll tell you halfway through when to switch. You can bring your forearms to stack and keep your head in neutral and keep your forehead on your forearms. So go ahead and make a choice here of how you want to settle in. And just connect back with that long, deep pranayama breath. This time, focusing that big expanse of energy into the back of your body, expanding the back of your heart. Again, the back of your mid-thoracic spine, especially nourishing our lower back, our kidneys, our adrenals. The key to breaking through the barriers that we build around our hearts is just a shift in our perspective. Sometimes the ideas or the truths we ground ourselves so assuredly in aren't all that there is. We don't have to finish practice on our back. We can try something new and find our truth within that. So a very simple way that this practice informs our life off the mat starts right here in how we work with what's going on with within the context of our own self. All the answers that we need can be illuminated to us if we take the time to pay attention and listen. And this is that time to listen. Taking just a few more really big, full breaths here, nourishing that part of you, honoring that part of you that brought you to this practice today, honoring the journey and all the wisdom that it has revealed to you. And you begin to roll over to one side when you're ready. Draw your knees up towards your chest, finding a fetal position. And lifting yourself all the way back, where we'll ground ourselves in a seat. Taking a moment before you reclose your eyes for me to introduce our final mudra for this practice, one of my favorites. You're going to interweave your fingers and cover the center of your heart space, of your chest. So this mudra is called the mudra for unshakable trust. Go ahead and close your eyes. And it symbolizes our own wisdom, that we lean in and trust the parts of us that brought us here, that inform us that this practice is good for us. That part inside that we can awaken to be compassionate for our own selves. And through this inner work, we unlock ourselves to connect to each other. So today, our unshakable trust is within ourselves as a unit, as a part, in trusting ourselves as a whole, in the power that we hold together as a mindful, awakened, loving community. Take a couple big breaths up into the heart space, feeling the palms open to that space of the heart. And then in a celebration of our unity, in a way of coming together in this virtual space, we're going to use the energy or the vibration of our voice. And a very simple tool we use of mantra. We use the mantra Om. Om is simply a vibration that we create that sends out this energy that we've created within, this inner trusting wisdom, and we seal it into something bigger. So let's take a moment to breathe in virtually together. Take an inhale as deep as you can. Open your mouth and sigh it out. And then we'll take 3 Oms to conclude. Inhale. Feel the breath and your heartbeat reflecting beneath the palms. It is said that when a group chants or sings together for 30 seconds, we begin to generate a heartbeat in unison. So imagine this interconnectedness that we've created, although we may be apart, into something bigger, into some reason we show up bigger than ourselves. Bring the palms of the hands together. Lift the thumbs to your third eye, acknowledging that inner light, that spark of wisdom that brought you here, that brought your virtual classmates here. And we'll take this final moment to honor this space we've created together, ourselves included. Namaste. Thank you so much for being a part of this practice. I hope that it helped you to find a little more space in your heart to tenderize some of those tough and tense places we've all been experiencing, and to feel a little more open to yourself and each other. Again, thank you for joining me. I can't wait to see you on the mat again soon.